smile. Fendi, Versace, Christian Dior. Who they swipe? Waiting they saw. Shena Magba, you they use text off. I give you car, make you use tech off. But you decide to they do fake love. Yeah. Maka eat love. Ishema Baka Maka eat love. I give you car, make you use tech off. But you decide to they do fake love. Wait. So you got somebody, yeah? You be somebody, baby. Yeah. So you got somebody, yeah? You be somebody, baby. Yeah.
Godwin Enoch, and I'm a broadcast journalist. Yes, my friend will tell me that I am a sport administrator by accident. Listen every day of the weekday to Sports Cruise on Mainland FM. God bless you.
Okay, need this. Okay, need that. Yamasila, Masileba. You know, Sissy Kelajo, Kukenu, Buladat, Buladat. Ndarisha, Yabareko, Kuneses, Ekudora, Anuna, Nekudula Moro. Oh, no. Open Sala. Oh, my Sala. Okay, $1 billion. $1 billion. Open Sala. Amakua. Your back Sala. Okay, $1 billion.
What is it? Girl, where you want where David no fi do. What is it? Girl, where you need where OPO no fi do. All the girls got eyes on me. Got eyes on me. But I got my eyes on you. Got eyes on you. I go buy you diamond. You carry lamp famous. Baby, you want see my wife. Oh yeah, say your hazard. Almost say your hazard. Baby, say your hazard. Baby, you want see my wife. Oh yeah, say your hazard. Almost say your hazard. Baby, say your hazard. Damn. Talk with this. Talk with that. Calm down, girl, you have to relax. A remedy, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your number one draft time sports show. A big shout out to Mr. Chico, by the way. My birthday was last week Tuesday, and he decided to still do an extension of the party for us in the office today. Hey, it's an amazing time, and of course, for the Chan Eagles, it's got to be another amazing time because hey, this is the moment where the entire world is watching as they kicked off the first game against the defending champion Senegal. They said is Remo Stars versus Senegal. Well, because 90% of the team that's starting, especially as both Manchester United and Newcastle have returned with renewed and improved bids for RB Leipzig, a 13-goal striker, last season's scorer. Benjamin Sesko. We'll talk about all of that. Last season and still lost the Europa League final, or a team that won the Carabao Carabao Cup, and will be playing Champions League football again next season. We'll talk, and we also look at Newcastle. They've actually, lost start in about 5 or 6 different strikers in this transfer window. Why is it that players don't want to go play for Newcastle? Is it because of the manager? That's how, or you think the club don't exactly have the capacity or the character to attract the biggest players, despite being the richest club in England? Let me break it down for in case you don't know. Newcastle are richer than all the 19 teams in the Premier League combined, so that you understand that money no be problem. But hey, their center forward Alexander Isak wants to leave the team, and he said he wants to explore new let me put it this way, patronage of politicians in the country, as the governor of Ondo State, lucky that the media officer of the Super Falcons, also from Ondo State. Well, we'll take that story again. So there's so much to talk about on the show today, but we'll start with the Chan Eagles.
easy to find. Into the steeple of beautiful people where there's only one kind. So hush.
All right, thank you very much. In case you're driving home, it's been a very, very long day. I know, just don't worry. I will keep your company from now till 7 p.m. And of course, we'll open the phone lines on the turn of 6:45 for you to join the conversation on 0913-600-0410. So we'll also look at it today. 10 times African champion, the Super Falcons, the Tigers as well. Nigeria's all conquering women basketball national team also got the same thing, $100,000, a flat in Abuja, and of course the coaches and the technical crew also got $50,000 each. Is this enough to propel the Chan Eagles to also go there and do the country proud? Because next week the Tigers, that's the Nigerian male basketball senior team, would also resume camp ahead of their own FIBA Afro Basket Championship. So we have all of those spelled out. The monetary reward that the national teams have been getting. How sustainable is that? Should we also institutionalize this reward system so that it's not just a President Bola Ahmed Tinubu thing, that subsequent president that would come would not just give these players a presidential handshake? Or you also think that let us fix that when they go and win, it's not going to be a big deal. A lot of people will come out and tell that, oh, it's justifiable of the monies they are giving because they did not get the necessary support when they were preparing for this competition. We'll look at those perspectives on the show today. I would also take that quick story. But let's look at the starting 11 of Nigeria's team facing the defending champion Senegal in their first game at the ongoing Chan African Cup of Nations. Like I said, they said, hey, this is they said it's Remo Stars versus Senegal. But let's look at the Nigerian team now. There's Mustafa Lawal in goal for the home Eagles. We'll call them the Super Eagles, but all of them have to be playing on the continent of, specifically in the Nigerian Premier Football League, before they can get into the team. There's also Akoni, there's Unduka, there's Ngbede, there's Adedayo, you know Alimi, right? Remo Star superstar striker. He's also starting. There's also there's Quadri Akoni, there's Mohamed Adebayo, there's Rafiu Michael Tochukwu, there's Richard Michael Tochukwu, and of course there's Sikiru Baba. Of course, the Super Eagles, yes, still playing a goalless draw. It's the 13th minute of the game. The game kicked off at 6 p.m. And Nigeria's midfielder Michael Tochukwu has already picked up a yellow card in this particular one, but it's still goalless. Talking about the Super Eagles versus the Teranga Lions of Senegal. The Ondo State Governor ₦ has rewarded Super Falcons defender Tᴏᴜᴛᴏᴛ with 30 million naira and a house for outstanding performance at the 2024 Women African Cup of Nations. Governor Aidatiwa made this known yesterday during a civic reception in Accra, the state capital, held in honor of Ondo State indigenes who were part of the victorious Super Falcons squad at the tournament held in Morocco last month. Alongside Demain, the governor also gifted the team's media officer Mary Akinshola and the team secretary Mary Oduboku the 15 million. Tosin Demain has made Ondo State proud on this continental stage. As a token of appreciation, the state government is awarding her 30 million naira and a house at the Sunshine Estate in Obaile. Aidatiwa also described the main wheels from Ilaje local government area of Ondo State as a shining example of talent, discipline, and resilience. I'm extremely delighted to welcome home our brave daughters. Their dedication, hard work, and team spirit had helped us to secure this victory. Aidatiwa praised the contribution of Mary Akinshola and Blessed Oduboku, both of whom are also from the Southern Senatorial District of the state, for their key support role in the Super Falcons campaign. He reaffirmed his administration's commitment commitment to sport development and youth empowerment in the state. Well, for context, both of the male and the female state-sponsored teams got relegated Nigeria level at the management level of those club side. And I'll tell you for a fact that one of the biggest problems they had been poor funding. Well, the governor, in his own wisdom, decided to splash about 60 million on members of the Victoria Super Falcons. Well, 30 million for the defender, $50 million naira rather each for both those people, and of course 30 million for the defender. Well, that's 60 million. And that's a whole lot for a government that had not been able to financially, support the state-owned team that eventually got relegated at the end of last season. Both the male and the female Sunshine Stars and she also got 15 million naira for being the media officer of the Super Falcons. Well, a lot of people came for the governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, for hosting the Imo State indigenes in the Super Falcons team, and of course for giving them that amount of money. Now, Ondo State governor also done the same for his own people. And let's keep our fingers crossed. And let's hope that Rivers State will give a grand reception to the Tigers winning squad, because a lot of them are actually Rivers from Rivers. We're also waiting to see if other governors would also host their indigenes from the Super Falcons 10 Women African Cup of Nations winning squad. All right, let me run you through this real quick. The 2024 African Nations Championship, the one we call the Chan AFCON, is technically considered to have begun on the 2nd of August 2025, though it was originally slated for February 2025. This Chan is being co-hosted by Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda, utilizing matches in 4 cities and 5 stadiums. Let me run you through result of games that have been decided already. The ongoing Chan, Congo and Sudan played a 1-1 draw, to start their own game in the group. Those games were decided earlier today. The game between Niger Republic and Guinea ended 1-0 in favor of Guinea. That game was also played yesterday. Algeria defeated Uganda by 3-0 in that particular one. The 3 goals were scored in the 36th, 76th, and the 79th minutes by the Desert Foxes of Algeria. So those are the games that were decided yesterday and today at the ongoing Chan Nations Cup.
Remember, your dream is your only scheme, so keep on pushing.
Thank you very much, and thank you once again for still staying with us on Sports Chan African Cup of Nations. The opening game between Nigeria and Senegal. 21st minute of that game, and it's still goalless. But let's quickly run through some transfer stories for you on the show today, as Manchester United have made a bid worth £74 million. That's 85 million pounds in performance-related add-ons for the RB Leipzig striker. Newcastle have also been working on a deal for Seshko. They made a second bid of £69.7 million plus add-ons, which was higher than Manchester United after an offer of £70 million plus add-ons. RB Leipzig are now internally discussing and evaluating Newcastle and Man U's offer and their structures, according to several reports. Tabloids in Germany that is leaning towards Manchester United. The 22-year was absent for RB Leipzig preseason friendly loss to Atalanta on Saturday due to his expected departure from the club, and the striker has told his teammates that he will be leaving, train indoors away from the team at the RB Leipzig training complex earlier today. Manchester United's bid for Seshko could have ramifications for Newcastle striker Alexander Isak. Newcastle would only let Isak leave the St James Park if they can bring in a ready-made replacement for the once-away striker. Liverpool has had a bid of £110 million plus add-ons rejected from Newcastle for Isak, and Newcastle are also interested in signing Brentford Yᴏᴜᴜᴜ, who was not part of Brentford's squad for that friendly against the tables. Seshko favors a move to Old Trafford. Manchester United offer totaling £65 million plus around 8.9 million is short of Newcastle's evaluation, but they offered around £5 million more than Manchester United. And Newcastle have offered more up front and more in total, but Manchester United have come to the table, and because the team has a tradition and a rich history in performance in England and Europe, they seem to have a upper hand. Let me bring it Agbatomi into this one real quick. For some weird reason, Liverpool are also still caught up in this entanglement, if I'm allowed to use that word, because with Liverpool in the area of letting go of Alexander Isak. Isak has said he wants to leave, he wants to explore new opportunities, but the truth of the matter is this: Newcastle would not let their main striker leave until they're able to secure a direct replacement for him. Why do you think a player that is 22, that is still developing pounds, would want to go to a team like Manchester United ahead of a Champions League playing team like Newcastle?
Well, for Newcastle as well as for Benjamin Sesko, I think this is that point in time where both of them feel like obviously Manchester United are going through some form of rebuild. Benjamin Sesko, the next big thing after Erling Haaland got his move from Salzburg to Borussia Dortmund. So he was meant to replace what's his name now? He was meant to replace Erling Haaland at RB Salzburg, by the way. And I think he has actually taken to the water like a duck, really. But it's just the fact that at the age of 22, I think he finds himself at that point or at that stage in his career where he feels like, you know what, I just have to go for the next step in my career. If that will be going to Manchester United or that will be going to Newcastle, the most important thing is me getting a move from RB Leipzig as well as Jamboree. So would perhaps want to pick a Manchester United over a Newcastle.
I mean,
because one club will be offering you the Champions League for next season, while the other club are going through some
they're rebuilding.
Rebuild, exactly. But then they are also showing promise. Don't forget that Manchester United are also showing promise. They also won the Premier League. That was on Sunday. The Premier League, US Premier League, by the way. They won that one on Sunday.
Listen. Don't cause the 20 teams in England that are playing. It's just selected teams.
4 teams played it.
It's just a round robin. 4 teams, 2 games each.
Okay, it is taking the Premier League to the United States.
It's bad belly that is worrying you people.
It is taking the Premier League to the United States. It is called the World Cup Summer Series, right? Agbatomi, when are you going to leave? You need to go and leave. I need peace on this show. Well, let's keep our fingers crossed as we're also keeping an eye on the Super Eagles versus the Teranga Lions of Senegal's game. Is still goalless, and then let's see how it goes for that particular one. Let's also quickly take another player that have been in the eye of the storm for some really weird reason. I'm talking about our former Arsenal midfielder Thomas Partey. Former Arsenal midfielder granted conditional bail after appearing in court earlier today on rape and sexual assault charges in 2001 and 2021 and 2022. The Ghanaian captain and the current Ghanaian player of the year are denied all of those charges leveled against him. Former Arsenal footballer Thomas Partey had been granted conditional bail after appearing in court on rape and sexual assault charges earlier today. The 5 charges related to 3 women, and the offences are reported to have taken place between 2021 and 2022, with Thomas Partey denying all of those charges. The hearing at Westminster's Magistrate Court earlier today lasted less than 15 minutes. Partey was not asked to enter a plea, but only if he understood the charges and the 2025. The 32-year-old was first arrested in July 2022, although he was not named at that time and continued to play for Arsenal while investigations were ongoing. In a statement after he was charged, Partey's lawyer Jenny Wilt's share of income and roles court says Thomas Partey denied all of the charges against him. He has fully cooperated with the police and the CPS throughout the having signed in 2020 for £45 million and is now a free agent after his contract expired at the end of last season. He made 52 appearances for Arsenal last season across all competitions. In a statement, Arsenal said the player's contract ended on the 30th of June due to the legal proceedings. The club was unable to comment on the case. The 2 counts of rape related to one woman.
Don't cry. Your folks might understand you by and by. Move on up and keep on wishing.
Let's quickly leave football. Let's take some Formula One story as Lewis Hamilton has endured a challenging first campaign with Ferrari. With the 7-time world champions remains without a Grand Prix podium in 14 races. Hamilton's desperation and description of himself as being useless in Hungary has raised questions over his future useless. During his latest underwhelming weekend, Hamilton reached the summer break of his fourth season in red by qualifying and finishing 12th at the Hungarian, a circuit at which he holds a record 8 victories in 9 pole position. The 40-year-old disappointing display at the track where he has enjoyed so much success was the latest evidence that he's just not gelling with a car that he has failed to put on the podium in 14 Grand Prix, but it's largely been being bleak in a full-length format. Hamilton trailed teammate Charles Leclerc 10-4 in qualifying and 11-2 in races, while his partner already scored 5 points on the podium this season. Hamilton's Q2 exit on Saturday will have been extremely disappointing for him in his own right, but the fact that Charles Leclerc stunned the seemingly dominant McLarens to take pole clearly heightened the Brit's disgust with himself. Asked in his post-session interview, described himself as useless before suggesting that Ferrari should probably change their driver. It was shocking to see the sports record-winning holder publicly berate himself in such a disgraceful manner. And the comment also led to many in the paddock to question whether Hamilton might be considering ending his multi-year contract with Ferrari earlier than planned. If you're a Lewis Hamilton fan worried that he's not ready, he might consider not coming back in the final 10 races of the season. Starting with the Dutch Grand Prix at the end of August, you can probably relax. Okay, we'll be better. Agbatomi, we're back here. We took a very, slight touch on this story yesterday, but the full report is out. The whole, I'm useless conversation around the Hamilton dominated the Hungarian Grand Prix over the weekend, and he started 12th on the grid and he ended the race in 12th position as well. It's been a terrible season for him. Crossing over to Ferrari after enjoying tremendous level of success with Mercedes. Is it time to say goodbye?
To Lewis Hamilton, my message to him is, it's time to say goodbye.
Please, just stick to sports, please. Please, leave that on that side.
I think, conversations I would definitely center around if the issue, the problem is either the driver or the car itself. But this time around, I think it is evident to the blind as well as also, audible as well to the deaf, that Lewis Hamilton has really not been able to transfer McLaren, to Mercedes, and then, was successful battling with Nico Rosberg at a point in time when Nico Rosberg saw that he perhaps would not be able to compete with Lewis Hamilton.
He retired.
He knew his time was up. Michael Schumacher as well, when he also knew that his time was also up as well, he also retired. Take a look at what is happening with Fernando Alonso. Fernando Alonso is, I think, 41 42 thereabouts, and he has only won one driver's championship, and he has continued to race. I really don't even understand his decision regarding him deciding to continue to race. But the thing is this: when you get to a point in your career, right, your body will tell you it is time to leave. Take a look at other sportsmen in the past, the likes of Tiger Woods in golf, the likes of Zlatan Ibrahimovic as well in football. With the young lads talking about Yannick Sinner, Carlos Alcaraz, Dani Medvedev, Tsitsipas, and a whole host of others. The reality is this: Lewis Hamilton cannot compete with the drivers, that Formula One have at this point in time. There's Lando Norris, there's Oscar Piastri, there's Max Verstappen, there's Yuki Tsunoda, Liam Lawson, all those of others. These are young drivers. They are blazing from the get-go. They want to compete, and at the age of, I think, what's the name?
Hamilton is 40.
He's 40. I think you're 40. I think it's high time he decided, to call time on his career and just done for them. But see, you don't wait and then you keep being, the time is right for you to leave. Your body will tell you, and you should listen to your body. So my message to Lewis Hamilton now is the fact that he has to listen to his body. I mean, over 14 races so far in the Formula 1, it has never happened before. As a matter of fact, the Hungarian Grand Prix, when it comes to winnings on your Grand Prix, nobody
He's
comes
won
close.
8.
He's won 8. Nobody comes
He's
close.
won 8 of 9 podium starts.
The what's it called? British Grand Prix as well. Even before now, what's his name now? Lando Norris won. That was his own win. Don't forget as well that Lando Norris had never finished out of P3 for the last 11 years. The last British Grand Prix was the first time Hamilton will be finishing out of P3. So you now begin to take a look at all of these numbers, all of these statistics. It is high time for Lewis Hamilton to leave Formula 1.
Well, I will still stick to my belief, the fact that, certain players or certain sport personalities that have been dominant and they've made a whole future and world for themselves deserve the right to walk away when they think their body can't take it anymore. When Toni Kroos retired at the end of last season, a lot of people still secure a 2-year deal with AC Milan. Bro, clubs will still break their transfer record to sign Toni Kroos.
Yeah,
he's still that good.
Yeah.
And we saw how Madrid signs Champions League winner. But he walked away. He's won everything. He's won the Champions League with Bayern and Madrid. He's won the World Cup. He's won everything. And he felt like, you know what? I've done it all for club and country. It's time for me to say goodbye. And he did. But again, like I always say, these guys have lived their entire lives doing this same thing. So it's difficult for you to just wake up and say, you know what? Walk away. You know what? Let's just leave it. It takes time for them to, get used to the fact that, hey, my body cannot take what it took 10 years ago.
You have to get used to it, whether I like it or not.
But you also see,
it's as a result of hard work.
Oh, okay. The drivers don't work hard.
They do.
The tennis players don't work hard. The swimmers don't work hard.
As you age,
the athletes don't work out.
As you age, right? Your level of training and consistency begins to drop. It does. It does.
I understand where you're coming from, Agbatomi. But again, I always feel these guys would know that, see, I'm done. Tiger Woods will still, anytime he's ready, he will still put himself up for Augusta. He will still put himself up to play at any of the Opens.
See, even a 76-year-old man can even play golf.
Exactly.
I mean, you definitely, that's not a contact sport.
I feel for Lewis Hamilton though. I feel at 40 he's won it all. Nobody can question his level of his legendary status when it comes to Formula 1.
He's good.
He is actually. No disrespect to Michael Schumacher, no disrespect to the great ones that have done it. But I'll tell you for a fact, I followed the Formula 1 track. You can bring all of the numbers, bring all of the stats. Look at his wins, look at his podium start, look at his podium finishes, look at his dominance in Hungary, his dominance in Azerbaijan, Baku, his dominance in UK. Look at his Silverstone, that is home track, by the way. His dominance in the Rio Grand Prix, he's held it down for many years. But hey, well, like Agbatomi was trying to sing, he said it's time to say goodbye. But let's talk about another club. Glasner is confident that the Eagles will win the appeal against the Court of Arbitration at the Court of Arbitration for Sport to play in the Europa League ahead of the new season. And to overturn UEFA's decision to give their place in the Europa League to Nottingham Forest. The CAS appeal at Wembley. It's been reported that Palace believe that they have compelling evidence that could help them win their case at the CAS appeal. Palace missed the March 1 deadline to change their ownership structure to comply with the rules. However, Palace have legal documents which appeal, and 3 days before the hearing, Glasner was upbeat about their chances of playing in Europa League next season. He said, "We don't have any evidence on the decision from the UEFA. We don't have any influence on the decision from the CAS, but so it just makes no sense that we are thinking about it. We focus on what we have to do on the pitch, how to
how to create this spirit in the group, this togetherness, this commitment, and this is a way, and that's what we're trying to do day by day. We're waiting for the final decision. We're still confident that the appeal will be successful and that we'll play in the Europa League next season. But in the end, on 11th of August, we'll know the final decision. Then we'll start to prepare for Europe. Whether it's the Conference League or the Europa League, the next couple of days would certainly tell. Thank you very much for staying with us. We're still keeping an eye also on the game going on between the Super Eagles of Nigeria and the Teranga Lions of Senegal in the first game of the ongoing CHAN Africa Boxing Stories. Tyson Fury has hinted regularly about a comeback to boxing in recent months, but he has said he would never return to the sport. The 36-year-old retired after a rematch defeat to Alexander Usyk, and Fury has been linked with a trilogy fight against Usyk or a fight with his fellow British fighter Anthony Joshua. Tyson Fury had insisted that he would never return to boxing when asked about an unexpected comeback from Fury has recently called for a trilogy fight against Usyk and continues to be linked with the blockbuster all British battle against Anthony Joshua, but he gave a blunt response to a question about his future plans. The former world heavyweight champion Gray, he said, boxing is a young man's game. Fury was watching his horse named the Big Gypsy King and was quizzed whether he would go into horse racing instead. The man that could end the Ukrainians' unbeaten record despite suffering points of defeat in their earlier two fights. Speaking on the social media, Fury said a massive shout out to Alexander Usyk. He did it, knows there's only one man who can beat him, and I've done it twice before, and the world boxing knows that. I know we've had this conversation a few months back, even before Usyk's victory over Daniel Dubois. But you're still excited? Are you looking forward to an all-British fight between Anthony Joshua and Alexander Usyk, or you feel it's time for them to also say goodbye?
Really, I don't want to see that fight, to be honest. If it had been on the cards, maybe 4 years ago, that would have been a probability that I would have loved to see happen. But both of them are the twilight of their career. Sure as well. Both boxers, they are British, but unfortunately, we've not seen a British bout between the both of them. And I mean, see, I don't even want to see both of them in the ring against each other. What exactly are they fighting for? Both of them don't even have a belt that they hold at this point in time. It's just like if they'll be fighting, maybe it's just going to be for the people to get to see what they could have seen in the last couple of years. Maybe get to have some fat pitch competition between both of them again, because I mean there's both of them, just like I said, don't even have a belt that they own at this point in time. There's also been reports now that Anthony Joshua could perhaps be in the ring, because ever since he lost to Daniel Dubois, I don't think he has also. No, I think he fought against Bakole. Yeah, he fought against Bakole.
AJ.
Yeah,
no,
I think he did.
No, AJ's last fight was the.
It was against Ngannou. It was against Ngannou that he won. I think after that game.
No, the Ngannou victory was before Daniel Dubois. His last fight was against Dubois.
Ever since I was trying to get that fact right. Ever since that bout, he has not been.
But it looks like there could be a bout at the start of 2026 for AJ. Jake Paul's manager Nakisa Bandarian has said that he's holding talks about a blockbuster fight with Anthony Joshua. Joshua, who has not fought since losing to Daniel Dubois in September 2024, underwent an elbow surgery in May, but is targeting a return to the ring later in 2025. Since then, YouTuber turned professional boxer Paul's decision last month, Paul audaciously called for a showdown with Joshua and has met with Turkey Alas Chichis to try and make that fight happen. I think the fight can absolutely happen, according to Bideri, and that's the promoter for the promoter for Jake Paul. I think size-wise, we can get comfortable with that. And I think the experience-wise, Jake is learning very fast and growing. And Joshua is a little long in the tooth. So it could be a very interesting matchup. And we're actively discussing with the matchroom. I think we are looking at that happening in the early time of 2026. It's a public that head up and focus on that. So the early 2026 fights could be on the card for Anthony Joshua.
It's just going to be for the money, really.
That's what they fight for, right? Nothing else.
Nothing.
The belt, whether it is IBO, WBC, IBF, WBO, you're fighting for money.
Same thing for Jake Paul up against Mike Tyson as well.
It was a matchup, man.
But Okwem, you knew that
Tyson was solid in that fight.
Okay, I mean, despite fighting, I think the last fight he had prior to that game was it not 4 years before coming back into the ring? What do you expect from a YouTuber? For a person that is to be a YouTuber now turning into professional boxing up against
but he's won 2 fights. He's fought at the heavyweight category.
It's just at charity level, really. It's just like you want to put Jake Paul into the same ring with Aleksandar Usyk, and you want to see the both of them should now battle.
But
you know the outcome.
The fight between Julio Cesar Chavez was in the cruiserweight category, and it was a standard boxing fight under the control of WBC.
And that was inside that ring. Look at the tensions in the ring.
That's what boxing comes with.
See, no,
he's not draft.
Okay, no, Okwemi, that game, it was evident. How do you even want to compare? Do you know what it means to come up against a professional boxer? Jake Paul, transitioning from content creation on YouTube, going to boxing, and then him being confident enough that he can defeat a professional boxer. That's what I'm saying. When he now comes up against the likes of Aleksandar Usyk, the likes of maybe Deontay Wilder, even Okwemi, let me say something. If it is a proper competition, I'm very, very sure that a certain Danny Dubois would take Jake Paul to the cleaners. What do you think? Boxing is not there.
Okay. The game between the Super Eagles of Nigeria and the Teranga Lions of Senegal is at the half time and it's still goalless. And let's run you through some of the stats for the first 45 minutes. Both teams have had 3 shots. And the Super Eagles have had only 1 shot on target. Senegal have not had any shot on target. The Super Eagles have had a 54% ball possession as against the 46% from Senegal. Accurate pass more for the Super Eagles. They've considered 9 fouls. 2 yellow cards already to the Super Eagles with 0 card to Senegal. 0 red cards to both teams. 1 offside each and 1 corner kick each. So as it stands right now, all of the 4 teams in the group have 1 point each. Remember, Congo and Sudan played earlier and they played a 1-1 draw. So now Senegal and Nigeria are still playing a goalless draw. So let's keep our fingers crossed for that.
Sport Cruise, only on Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. From hot transfer gist to Champions League drama, from Nigeria football madness to global sport cruise, we bring the vibes, the analysis, and pure football fire.
On your marks, get set.
Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, block!
Just pure energy, passion, and premium banter with your favorite crew on deck every week. Sport Cruise, where sports meets vibe.
That is a princely strike from John Duran. Open mouth or.
Hello, my name is Godwin Enoch and I'm a broadcast journalist. Yes, my friend will tell me that I am a sport administrator by accident. Listen every day of the weekday to Sports Cruise on Mainland FM. God bless you.
One maximum enjoyment, one that makes sure you rest, and don't stop people sound. Genuine and for them music, no more, no less, no more, no less, no more, no less. That's ᴏᴜᴜᴜ.
I want to dance with my G's. Motistan Latin 1990. Me ráyè jati. But me one girls don't like to party. Myself, I dey gbadun baddies. On the weekend, I dey travel out. Big Bola be and so fatty. Add everything, what's the matty? Mashima makes sense. Tutun with the jolly test. Touchdown at the town they red. I'm a butter with the dry break bread. Mashima makes sense. Tutun with the jolly test. Touchdown at the town they red. I'm a butter with the dry break bread. Maybe you see this setting, see I see the beat. You dey play. Don't bring your girl to the concert. Second verse, only remaining the same circumstance. I don't know the song won't play second time, but the schedule see to 1 second sign. Well, second chance, second try, second dance, second glass, second half, second seat, you see, second side. Yeah. Hello, my dear. Belle, my dear. Sweetie, my dear. Belle, my dear. She might make sense. Tutun with the jolly test. Touchdown at the town they red. I'm a butter with the dry break bread. And she might make sense. Tutun with the jolly test. Touchdown at the town they red. I'm a butter with the dry break bread. Sweetie, my dear. Baby, my dear. Belle, my dear. Belle, my dear.
Thank you very much for staying with us. Fresh yourself. This is Sports Cruise live from Milan 98.3 FM. And 6 minutes more for the Super Eagles to return for the second half of their first game at the ongoing Chan-Om 2 weekends. Starting from the Super Falcons winning their 10th African Cup of Nations after defeating Morocco, coming from 2 goals down. So I made it 5 titles on the bounce and 7 in all after defeating Mali. Very close game in the final, and they've been perfectly rewarded. $100,000 for each of the players and $50,000 for the coaching Buja. So almost the same thing I was giving to the Super Falcons, were also giving to the Tigers too.
A lot of people felt it was a plot. It wasn't a plot.
Yeah, so maybe it was because of how the flat and plot was announced. Let's leave that aside.
How much you want you to take build?
But it's a good one. Maybe the Super Eagles as well. Talking about the Chan Eagles, would be able to do enough.
Affectionately known as the Chan Eagles.
Leave affection, leave back home. Well, I understand though, but let's hope that the boys will be able to do the real deal. Now let's quickly talk about one particular issue, and that is the issue of Benjamin Sesko choosing Manchester United over Newcastle United. And then let's put it to the other side. Why is it a big deal, or why are Newcastle struggling to get players on board this season? Now, earlier today, I saw a report that about 7 players that Newcastle had indicated interest in buying had gone to other clubs, despite the fact that at the rich season. Why is it difficult? Is it the status of Newcastle, or you think they need to sack their manager and getting a big manager? Because I remember when Manchester United were struggling in the Europa League, there was a certain Paul Pogba that left a Champions League playing Juventus and came in, and Paul Pogba was voted as the player of that particular tournament. What exactly is the missing link for Newcastle? The manager, or you think the players just don't buy into the dream of the Magpies?
Yeah, I think it works on both sides, Okwemi, to be honest, because you take a look at how much Eddie Howe has taken Newcastle. I remember how their first trophy in over 77 years, and that was the Carabao trophy. I think it has also gotten to a point or a place, that Newcastle really has to let Eddie Howe leave, because when you want to be a big club, players that is fit for that. You take a look at the crop of players, the ranks of Newcastle at the moment: Joe Linton, Bruno Guimaraes, Alexander Isak, Anthony Gordon, Nick Pope, who is actually one of the very, very best goalkeepers in the English Premier League as well. There's also I'm trying to name a few now. There used to be Callum Wilson that left at the end of his contract as well last season. They also used to be Kieran Trippier. They can improve on their performances, when they have a better trainer in the sense of a better coach. And to me, I feel like Eddie Howe really doesn't even coach these players. The person that even coaches these players is even Jason Tindall. That's the assistant manager. Don't forget that even at games, you definitely be seeing Jason Tindall, going over to meet the referee. It looks like he is the manager even more than Eddie Howe. So all of these things I'm trying to put in context is the fact that I think Alexander Isak has gotten, to find out or thinking to the realization that Newcastle really can't give him what he wants. Because trust me, you as a player, for the Manchester United are even rebuilding at this point in time. Manchester United will perhaps win a trophy before Newcastle gets to win another trophy in the next couple of years.
Well, if you don't play, you can't win. Manchester United will not be playing any European competition at the start of next season. But the breaking news reaching us says that the sponsors of the Women National Basketball League Zenith Bank on Tuesday held a reception for the Tigress in the head office in Abuja, and the road
200 million there.
Yeah, for the Tigress, not each of them.
Not each of them.
But I remember they are not as much as the Super Falcons.
Okay, let me calculate something.
That's the point. You are a poor man. You're always calculating money for rich people.
They are 12, right? 200 million naira.
Divided by 12. I will not allow you to give out the results. And yet the rest of the evening, guys, hand you over to the hands of one of Nigeria's finest DJs. He's always the king on the wheels of steels. He's a mix master, and he knows how to make you have a beautiful evening. The world famous superstar DJ Gabiti takes over from here. And don't forget, the sport banter tonight by 8 p.m. Stick around. My name is Okoyemi Akinode. Thank you so much, Agbatomi, for coming through as usual. Well, we'll continue tomorrow, same time, 6 p.m., same station, your Super Dial, Mainland 98.3 FM, and I hope that the Super...